Have you ever been absolutely 100% sure that you were right about something? I mean, so sure that there was no other possible answer. We all have. We often see the world in simple terms, right and wrong, yes and no. But what if I told you that sometimes the problem isn't the answer, but the question we're asking? We often make quick decisions, thinking our way is the only right way. If someone has a different opinion, we think they must be wrong. But the truth is, most problems in life have more than one solution. This is a simple story about a little girl that perfectly shows why. There was once a small, beautiful village, and in that village lived a lively and cheerful little girl named Emily. Emily absolutely loved going to school. With her small backpack filled with books and notebooks, she would happily walk to school every single day. She loved her friends, and she loved learning new things. But Emily had one big problem. A subject that made her feel confused and small: math. Whenever she tried to do math, the numbers just seemed to get jumbled in her head. Even simple sums, like adding numbers under 10, made her count on her fingers. While the other children seemed to learn math so quickly, Emily struggled, and her family started to worry just a little. Now, one day in class, her teacher, Mr. Johnson, told everyone to draw a picture. This was Emily's favorite activity. While math may have been her weakness, drawing was her greatest strength. In fact, she was the best artist in the entire class. Everyone started drawing with great excitement, and Emily was completely focused, her pencil dancing across the paper. When the drawings were finished, Mr. Johnson went through everyone's work. He saw drawings of friends, ducks, and all sorts of colorful things. He was a kind teacher and understood the children's efforts, so he wrote encouraging words on every notebook. On Emily's, he wrote, "Well done, Emily. Great work. Your picture is truly beautiful." Seeing those words made Emily's heart fill with joy. She couldn't wait to show the drawing to her mother. As soon as class ended, all the children ran outside. Some went to the canteen and others went to play. Emily had brought her lunch, but she didn't like eating alone, so she joined her friends in the canteen. And that's when her old problem appeared again. While trying to pay for a small snack, she struggled to calculate the total. One of her friends had to help her out. Slowly, everyone in the class came to know that Emily was very weak in math. Later that day, the math class began. Mr. Johnson was teaching a very simple addition problem. He wanted to make it easy to understand, so he took 3 shiny red apples from his table and asked the children, "All right, kids, imagine I give you 1 apple, then another, and then 1 more. Tell me, how many apples will that be in total?" All the students answered together, "3, sir." But when it was Emily's turn, she hesitated. After counting on her fingers for a moment, she looked up with a smile and said, "4, sir." Mr. Johnson was a very patient man. He thought maybe Emily just didn't like apples, and that's why she gave the wrong answer. So he decided to try again with something else. "All right, Emily," he said kindly. "Now imagine I give you 1 strawberry, then another, then 1 more. How many strawberries will you have in total?" This time, Emily didn't even have to count on her fingers. She happily replied, "3, sir." Mr. Johnson was pleased but confused. He went back to the first question. "Okay, now let's count the apples again," he said, placing the 3 apples in Emily's hand one by one. "I give you 1 apple, then another, then 1 more. How many apples in total?" Emily, holding the 3 apples, looked at him and, without any hesitation, replied very simply, "4, sir." This time, Mr. Johnson's patience started to fade. He raised his voice a little and said, "You can count strawberries correctly, but why not apples? I only gave you 3 apples. Why do you keep saying 4? Emily shrank back a little in fear. In a soft, quiet voice, she said, "Because I already have 1 apple in my backpack, sir." Hearing this, Mr. Johnson was stunned into silence. He was completely surprised by her answer. He suddenly realized the problem wasn't as simple as he thought. The student he believed was wrong wasn't actually wrong at all. From her point of view, her answer was perfectly correct. He was only thinking about the 3 apples on the table, but she was thinking about all the apples she had. This is truly a short story that will change your perspective. My friends, this same thing happens in our lives so many times. We think we are right, but we fail to understand the other person's point of view. Someone else's different opinion may not be completely wrong. They might just have an extra apple in their backpack that we don't know about. Yes, 5 plus 5 equals 10. That's correct. But 6 plus 4 and 3 plus 7 also make 10, don't they? So never think that only your way is the right way. Before judging someone, take a moment to listen carefully to what they have to say. Try to understand their perspective. If you enjoyed this story and it gave you something to think about, please show your support by hitting that like button. And if you'd like to see more stories that help us see the world a little differently, make sure you subscribe and join our community. Your one comment can encourage me to create even better stories for you. Thank you, everyone.